When you think of the most successful educational system in the world, what country do you think of? It's a sad reality that a lot of us here in the US don't even think of our own country. We think of countries like Finland, Switzerland, South Korea, Singapore, Japan. People used to come here for a better life, for the American dream. It's a sad reality that people these days rather go to European countries, Asian countries for their education. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the change we need in education reform and why. We need a change. We need a change in how we teach our children. We need a change in who we let teach our children. Most importantly, we need a change in our hearts. We need a change. The United States already does have one of the top educational systems, but it has stopped working for us. We have stopped progressing in our education. The teachers do get better pay and better education than they have in the recent decades, but they've lost their motivation to teach. They've lost their motivation to pass on their knowledge. Current teachers have lost their motivation to want to stay teachers. Citizens have lost their motivation to want to become teachers. If we want to see a healthier, faster, better rise in the intelligence of our children, then we need a change. Recent studies show just how average, yes, average, United States students rank among other countries. The program for international student assessment is one of the largest cross-national tests that measure mathematics and science among 15-year-olds. This test is ran every 3 years and includes developed and underdeveloped countries. Their most recent study, having been done in 2015, listen carefully, places the United States at a mediocre 38 out of 71 countries in math and 24th in science. Furthermore, another international study, the Trends in International Mathematics and Science study, does something a little similar. They test 4th and 8th graders every 4 years in math and science. Their most recent study, also having been in 2015, came to the conclusion of 10 countries being superior to the United States in math and 7 countries in science. When it came to tests in 8th grade, we were 7th in math, just 3 ranks higher, and 7th in science, no change. We are too slowly but surely progressing. Too slowly. The very, very, very little change we are making is not happening as quick as it should be in such a powerful country with as much resources as we have, with as much freedom as we have. We're not looking for more innovative ways to make our ranks number 1. We need a change in how we teach our children. A key factor that a lot of these countries have that the US doesn't is when we introduce formal education. A lot of these countries introduce formal education at the ages of 3 or 4, when the United States only introduces it at about the age of 5. Another really important factor in these successful countries is they make education one of the top financial priorities. That being said, they're able to pay their teachers a considerable amount more. They care. Their teachers care. They care about their students learning. They care about the fact that their students actually understand. These countries care about who teaches their children. But we'll get back to that. The financial priority of education in the United States is at the bottom. According to nationalpriorities.org in 2015, the United States only spent 3% of the entire federal spending budget on education. How can we How can we expect our teachers to want to learn, having been paid so lowly in this country? We do need to change in who we let teach our children, though. As I mentioned earlier, these teachers are paid a considerable amount more. They have the whatever it takes attitude. They make sure their children understand. They make sure their children learn. These countries also do early on literacy and mathematics assessments to see who needs the extra help, and they have special teachers for them too. Sure, we have special teachers here in the United States, but the level of priority education is in those states, in those countries, they have the resources they have the time and the willingness to make sure, to make it a point, their students understand. We need a change in our hearts. We have to want this, guys. We have to want better education. We have to stop sitting around and complaining about how terrible the education system is and not doing anything about it. That does nothing for no one. This is our very own children we're talking about, guys. My boyfriend has a daughter. She's not going to start school for another 3 to 4 years, but I would be much more comfortable with somebody who graduated, say, top 10 in their class rather than somebody who just barely got their diploma. I can assume that you would want the best for your children as well. And not to mention for yourself. For you guys that want to go back to college, is this really what you want? Do you really want to go to college in a country who spends just about the bare minimum on your education to teach you? Or would you rather your country put more effort into teaching you and to make sure you understand instead of teaching to a test, instead of teaching to memorize and forget? What good does that do once you graduate? Let's go over our main points one more time. We need a change. We need a change in our hearts. We need a change in who we let teach our children. We need a change in how we teach our children. We want better, smarter doctors, lawyers, scientists. It all starts with change.